Hi, and hello to all of you beautiful people. Um, I just wanted to show you what I'm doing today. Every day I'm doing something different. I don't know how that goes, but I'm just always doing something different. Well, this started where I was watching. Let me see. I wrote her name down. Annie Claxton, Claxton. Annie Claxton, and she has a YouTube called the Arty Farty Annie. She is the cutest lady ever. She is so much fun, and she's doing what she calls a strip quilt. And so then I got started with doing something like that, which is she makes these 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares, and she just used all these little strips. And so I made I made one, and then I made another, but my second one, I just couldn't get that strip in there just straight. And as it turned out, down on this bottom piece, I put it all together, just didn't do the boro stitching or the sashiko stitching or the whatever you call it. And so it just got that like seed stitching all over it because it's all crooked. And so, and she's done like she made 48 of these, and then she put them together, and then she's doing different, she puts them together on like a foundation piece, and then oh, that would look cool right there. But anyway, and then I found that it was kind of hard for me to do that, holding the fabric and then holding the strips on there. And I can't do anything with direction, I'm telling you. So then I made this little one where I just added a whole bunch of just little scraps on there. It's just a 2.5 by 2.5 square, and it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different pieces on there. And I just got them all just stitched on there haphazardly. But then I have hard time just holding it because it just wants to flop around. And so then I said, well, then I thought, well, what if I stitch onto felt? Because I got a lot of felt, different colors of felt, and it's kind of a stiff felt. And so I cut a piece out of just the felt, and then started stitching pieces on there, and put a little piece of lace on there and a little button on. Even on this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. There's a bunch of pieces on here too, and then I put a couple buttons on there and a little doily flower on there, and then that was fun. And then I thought, well, what if I make something a little bit bigger? And so then I cut this one piece, and this one piece I think is 3 inches by 5 inches. This one is, and then I just added just a few little, like so many fabrics you can get with images on them like this, that you can cut out an image on there and just use that image. And and then like this one here has got little animals. You can cut out those little animals and use them. And then I have this fabric, which I love this fabric. Love my ladies on there. They're just beautiful. And I'm just like this one right here. Inside of me somewhere is this one right here. I'm telling you, they're beautiful. And so then I took this piece. Now this piece, like I say, I've got these, you can buy these 6 by 6 inch. I bought them for something different I was doing, but I got this whole stack of them I got off of Amazon, and they're kind of a stiff felt. Well, they're 6 by 6, So I figured just cutting them in half, then I have a 3 by 6. So you can make something this way, which is the portrait way, or this way, like this way, is like a landscape. And so then I thought, well, then you can make something like this, and then if you are putting them together like in a page in a fabric journal that you've made, and you want to put them in, because you could just tack them on the page. Then if I have 6 by 6, then I can put them together in different, they will all match together. If I use different sizes, then So I'm going to stick with the 3 by 6, 3 by 6. And then what I did when I got all finished with stitching all of this stuff on, then I used the other side and I stitched it onto the back. I just laid it across the back. Then that hides all this stitching right down here. And then I just, you can go around with like a blanket stitch on, I seen something that Tracy made, and I seen how she put a blanket stitch all the way around the edge, and I thought that is cool. This one here is not a blanket stitch, I just whip stitched, but I have like different fibers, and I just took some of them fibers, and like here I just wadded one up on here, and then I did the fiber all the way around it, and that's what stitched this back piece on. And it kind of gives it that finished look too, that it's finished, so you don't see all the stitches. But I couched some things on there. I put a couple buttons on there, and then there's like a little flower under there, and then I just took a little wad of the fibers and put it on there and fluffed it up. And just one of my ladies, and I think she's just beautiful. And so what I want to do now, I might do tomorrow, is get me some like muslin and some of my stamps that's got letters in them, so I can put some words. And so that, because I do like words also, like believe, inspire, love, peace, good words like that I want to put, that I can add to my little pieces. And so, and I can make them this way, or I can make them the landscape way. And so that's what I'm going to be doing in the future. And I might make some smaller pieces like this too, because this one is just too. But for me, it's by doing them on this felt, it gives me something more to hold on to. And I got like little arthritis. Oh, and then my bracelet here from this same lady. What I just say her name was? Annie Claxton. Annie, Claxton. Arty Farty Annie. She also has been making these wrist cuffs. These are also made with felt. So, and I can't get anything to, I can't go to a normal jewelry store and buy jewelry that fits my wrist, because my wrist is kind of big like a farmer, And so what I did with this one then is I just cut that, my piece, I cut to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.5 inches. It overlaps just a little bit here because I got a big wrist. And then I have a hair tie here and a button here. And that's how these buttons here, it says handmade with love. Got them off of that Temu place. And so, but now this I did the same way. I just had that piece. Oh, I had the long piece that I had wide enough, because you can make it as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. You just have to measure your wrist where it'll fit around. And so what I did first was I used purple felt. I got some longer felt too, and this was long enough. And then, but I took a piece of fabric and then I just wrapped that fabric around, and then I just borrow stitched it around. Then I started adding just scraps of fabric again, just scraps of fabric and lace and whatever, and 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 then and then I put my buttons on, put buttons on there, got everything stitched on that I was going to stitch on, and then I went ahead and cut another piece of felt, but I cut it just a snitch smaller, just a smidgen smaller than than the than the actual bracelet, and then I used the blanket stitch, and I went all the way around on the blanket stitch, holding it all together, and then putting this little hair ponytail holder as that's stitched right in there, and so then that hides all the it gives it that finished look then. And so I have made wrist cuffs before, but I like this one. I like this one the way she showed she did hers. And so, and I like that. I just think that's pretty awesome. You can put anything you want on there, and then it'll be pretty. But yeah, I'm going to start working on another one of these. And these also, I figure you can put these in an envelope. Now, if you put more buttons and stuff on them, you'd have to put an extra stamp on there. But if you don't make it real heavy, you can just mail this off in a regular envelope with just a regular stamp to a regular person. And that would be awesome as ever. And so you could actually, like I did on the bracelet, is cover the whole piece of felt up with fabric. But I, like on here, I use that pink felt, and you can still see the felt in there. And so if you was to cover it up with some kind of fabric, then that's what you would see if you didn't cover the whole thing up. But now when you buy this kind of fabric like this, always on the edge, like this little girl, she was on the edge, so her bottom wasn't there. And so, but that worked out okay because I just put her all the way to the bottom. But now some of them have their whole body on there. Their whole body is on there. And so then if you just cut it out, cut her out, just go around her and just kind of, and you don't even have to fussy cut her, you just kind of cut her. Just don't cut her because that would hurt and she'd bleed, and you don't be wanting her to bleed and stuff like that. And so, but they're also pretty that you don't have to pick and choose. You just pick the next one. They're all just so pretty. Look how pretty they are. They're bell-bottom breeches. Oh, jeez, I love them. I just love them. And so, but see, now, look how pretty with her red lipstick and all. Isn't she beautiful? She looks like she's ready to go shopping. I think she is ready to go shopping. And so then you just kind of go around. I just make sure that all the little corners are kind of rounded, you know. I don't like sharp corners. She doesn't like sharp either. And so then see, then you can decide how you want her to go. Look at how she fits perfect in that space. She just fits perfectly in that space. And then you just find different pieces of scraps that you have, like just any kind of scraps. And I just have scraps laying all over all the time because I'm Scrappin' Lizzie. I'm telling you, I live up to my name. That's scraps of everything. But see, you can just put any kind of scraps anywhere you want on here, and then just look at that shiny little piece there. And whatever shape or size they are, just stick it on there. Just stick it on there. Just it doesn't matter. Nothing really matters. Just put it on there. There's another little scrap of something. And so you can clean off your work area. I need to be cleaning off my work area because there is a good chance, a really good chance that I'm going to get to see one of my favorites, one of my favorite ladies. She's hoping to be able to come to, oh, this is just a little piece, come to Florida. I hope I get to see her. And so I need to clean off my table or something. If she comes, we're going to do a live stream together. I hope she comes. And look at there. See, I can put that one there. That's a piece of that sari silk stuff I got just everywhere. Just pieces and gobs and globs and stuff. And a piece of lace here. I could put a piece of lace in there somewhere. I don't want too big of pieces though, so I would cut that a little bit smaller. And maybe I would put that right in there too. Just there. See? Or maybe I'd put another little piece of this lace right up here. I don't give it much thought. Now some people I notice they're pretty darn particular about when they adding scraps, you know. They're pretty darn particular. And they say, oh, that doesn't go there and that don't go there. Well, I don't understand how that doesn't go there because I think everything just goes everywhere. But look at there. Now see? Look at that. So what I would do first is I would start stitching all the way around this beautiful lady. Just stitching. And like on my stitching here, you can hardly see my stitching on there, but it's just a running stitch. Just a running stitch. It's got her held on there. Now if I wanted to, I could take some like gold thread and go along her necklace. Well, I got thread on there. But it doesn't take much thought at all. And it doesn't take much thought at all to get that done in there. And then maybe I would put, I don't know if I'll put a border like this around there or if I would just use a heavier bright color. And maybe I would use purple because she's got a lot of purple in her dress. And I would just do a blanket stitch all the way around. But that's after I get everything stitched because I'll probably add some buttons on there. Maybe I'll add like a little flower, like one of these little flowers somewhere. Maybe one of those will go on there. And so it just comes at you as you get to going, you know, as you get to going. And you can get a couple flowers in there. Look at that. See? You put a couple flowers on there. But wouldn't that be something fun to send off to a friend? Just to say hello. Just to say hello and send off to a friend. I think it would be wonderful. But like I say, you can find so many scrap fabrics that have, like, see, this one here says wisdom. And, you know, threads. But you could just cut that piece out. That says stupendous. This is some awesome, outstanding up. But you know, you can, there's so many fabrics that have so many fun little things. So then I was trying to think of what should I call my little pieces like this. And so I said, well, maybe they could be scrap and slow stitch snippets swatches. Say that 9 times in a row. Scrap and snippet swatch. Scrap and slow stitch, snip and swap. If you're going to swap them, you know, you might even decide to do a swap where you do it all and do a swap. And wouldn't that be awesome if we did do swaps with these? We could maybe and call them a scrap and slow stitch snippet swap. You can say that easy, right? So scrap. Well, anyway. I think it would be fun to swap these, to make them all of the same size, 3 by 6, and then swap them. Swap them with your buddies. Or just give them as a gift. You don't even have to swap them. You can just give them as a gift. I just think it's beautiful. This one's going to be beautiful just right here. I just think these girls is beautiful. Well, that's all I wanted to tell you about today. And I'm going to work on this now. My daughter's cooking dinner. Darn it. She just wants me to be fat. That's all. I know there's... And so everybody who watched my latest pity party, dear children video, things haven't changed a whole lot, but I think I have changed. I am no longer, I have, you know, they say you have to cut your apron strings after a while. Well, I have cut my aprons. Well, I did that, but I still had the apron. Now I've thrown the whole doggone apron in the dumpster. That's it. I don't have no apron anymore. I'm just playing. Now I am just playing. That's all I do now. If my children want to come and tell me stuff, you know, and if they got a sob story or something, I'll just say, yes, I understand, you want some ice cream? That's what my response is going to be from now on. No advice. There's no advice coming out of this old woman. No more advice. My advice has gone out the window. And so, but yeah. Well, but you know what? Today, what time is it? Okay, we've got 21. I'm gonna read us another one of these. I like reading these here cards. These cards from Spirit, postcards from Spirit. I mean, don't go get the mail out of the mailbox. Just get your mail out of your box of cards. And let's see here what this says. Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you what Spirit has to tell us today. And let me use this for a marker. Okay. Dearest you, you need to know that you can change things miraculously for you and everyone and make things right. It's never too late. Wait a minute. Forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the burden of an old story, one in which you were the victim of someone else's actions or your own. You don't need to carry this around. Oh my gosh. You can set yourself free. Even advocating for good because of this experience requires your forgiveness to be effective. Forgiveness is never about condoning things that were done. It's about letting yourself off the hook from carrying the burden. Resentment and hurt are like viruses that spread to others, and that is the opposite of what you really desire. Right? Imagine what your life would be like without the burdens that you carry when you do not forgive. And do you know who is the most important person that you need to forgive? Is yourself. Yourself. You who's sitting right there with your eyeballs looking at these eyeballs. You are the person to forgive. I've learned that. I'm 73 years old. And I am finally learning that I have to forgive myself. When you're 73 years old, you've done been through all them decades. That first decade, that second decade. The third decade. Fourth decade starts getting a little bit better. But there's things that you could have done differently. And don't hold them against yourself. You forgive yourself first. You can't change what you did. You sure can forgive yourself and know that you did the best of what you thought you could at the moment. And it might not have been the best thing. It might not have been the best choice. But now's the time to forgive yourself and take that weight off your shoulders. Let it just go flying through the wind, and everything will be good. Are you done with your walk already?
Yes, I made it back safe.
And you're going to slobber on my head?
Ain't no slobber involved.
Oh, okay. My hubster, he took it. So that was our message from our ancestors today in our postcard from Spirit. And then now I showed you what I'm doing here. I showed you my little thing here. I showed you my stuff here. And now I'm going to get all my stuff right there. Isn't that pretty? Is that pretty? Now see something like that? That make you smile? That's what we need. This is therapy. You could maybe go to a therapist. Boy, they're expensive. And I don't know how many therapists have walked in our shoes. So I don't know. This therapy is like, oh yeah. Okay, that's it. I ask God to watch over you every step you take, every move you make, every little breath you breathe, and keep you safe and keep your sanity. Well, yeah. Safe, secure, happy, healthy, humble, and well fed. And God bless you, and I'll see you on the very next video. God bless and love you all.